Hello, it is Thursday, August 26th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. I did an extra video yesterday that you may or may not have seen. I would recommend checking it out. It's very interesting. I solved a competition crossword puzzle from the Lollapuzzoola Festival, which occurred online this past weekend, and which I completely missed, but did solve a puzzle that they put out for free. There's an entire puzzle pack you can buy from the festival, but there was one put out there for free, and I solved it, and it is a very, very fascinating puzzle with an extremely tricky and devious gimmick that took me some time to spot, and once I did, I was very impressed. So I thought that was fun, and that's the most recent video prior to this one on the channel if you'd like to check that out. But of course, today is a Thursday New York Times crossword puzzle. And yesterday was a Wednesday crossword puzzle, and there were just a couple of additional bits of context that some commenters posted regarding yesterday's puzzle. Brian D. says, "You got the full form of ISBN exactly right, by the way. Your acronym guessing abilities are awesome." So I think I stumbled my way through International Standard Book Number for ISBN in yesterday's puzzle, and apparently that is correct. And then Brian D. adds, "And rosin is indeed related to resin." So this is in reference to the clue pine secretion, which is resin. And I initially had incorrectly entered rosin, which is a harder substance that is used to add friction to a violin bow. And as Brian D. points out, rosin is related to resin. When you boil off the excess water in liquid resin, you get the solid rosin. So there you go. They seemed to me that they must be related because they seem like such similar substances, but I didn't know that. And Kyle Schlahata says, ESPN, the sports network, stands for the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. So there we go. And finally, another sport answer for me. Stephen Norrie points out, as part of the ongoing sporting education for Chris, the Pro Bowlers org refers to the NFL because the annual All-Star game, wherein the top players from across the league compete in a one-off game, is called the Pro Bowl. And iSmileyzell adds, continuing from this, that's why the B in bowler is capitalized. Which is a good point. I think when I read Pro Bowlers organization, I maybe was thinking of bowling, 9 pins, the tossing a bowling ball, rolling a bowling ball down the lane to knock over the pins. And so there we go. There are the additional clues from yesterday. So shall we get on to today's Thursday crossword? This is a Thursday puzzle by Ashish Vengsarkar, who I certainly recognize that name. I think, in fact, we may have solved one of Mr. Vengsarkar's puzzles earlier in this very series. And it is edited, as always, by Will Shorts. I don't see any reason to dally any longer, so are we ready to get started? I say yes. Okay. Pink alcoholic drink, for short. I think this is a cosmopolitan, a Cosmo. Became really big in the 90s, I think, prior to the sort of craft cocktail renaissance of the tail end of the 1990s and early 2000s, in whose shadow we are still living. Across 6, Spree. Could be a Jag. Let's check the cross. Bygone Chevrolet Division. GMC? But I think GMC still exists, do they? Oh, Geo, maybe? That was an old car brand. Was it related to Chevrolet? I don't know. Absorbed as a loss. Well, it could be 8 the loss. So maybe this is Geo. And then a measure of conductance. Oh, could it be a Rho, maybe? To whom the Greeks dedicated the Parthenon? Athena. So signal blocking device. I don't know. A signal blocking device. Not sure. It comes first in China, but second in the US. Could it be your surname? In other words, in China and a number of other Asian cultures, your surname comes before your given name. The surname doesn't work, so maybe last name? It's kind of a wild guess, so let's check the crosses. So 22 down is validate with 2. It could be attest to. What is this? Signal blocking device. I feel like I must have something here wrong. Maybe row is wrong. Oh, jammer. Mo, M-H-O. It's a different Greek letter. Sorry, I should have elaborated on this a bit more. The reason I guessed row is because often Greek letters are used as symbols for different physics and sort of units of measurements, things like that. And I think, for instance, an ohm is a unit of resistance. And so I thought maybe a rho was a measure of conductance, but maybe it's mo. This looks basically correct up here to me, so let's keep going. Warms up the crowd in a way. Well, you could say a band warms up the crowd by opening for another band. Opens. Bad start. Bad start. Could it be so a prefix that means bad or a prefix that comes before the word bad? I mean, a bad start could be mal something, which doesn't fit with last name, but last name could be wrong, although name itself seems correct. Let's keep checking these crosses. First space probe to enter Saturn's orbit. I don't think last name is correct. It's so interesting that name might be, though. Kissing related. Probably ends with AR, AR or IC, just based on the kind of word it's going to be. 2019 World Series champs. Do not know that one. Poker declaration. I raise? Actually, that would work with AR there. Let's pencil that in. I mean, I'm not penciling it in. I think there actually, it's funny. I think there actually is a pencil tool. There's a little pencil icon here, and I've never used this in my entire life. Look at that. You can pencil it in. Let's trial the pencil tool and see what happens. So poker declaration could be I raise. First space probe to enter Saturn's orbit. Could it be Cassini? That sort of rings a bell. I'm not sure that that's what Cassini did, but that seems plausible. Suffix with infant, could be infantile. Important map information. Maybe Cassini should be penciled in as well. Music rights organization. This is definitely ASCAP. As I've said in a past video, I know this one for sure. The American Society of Composers and Performers, or something like that. I don't think it's probably not "and" for A, but it's something to that effect. And this is an organization that collects royalty on behalf of songwriters and composers. And I collect royalties from ASCAP for my music when it is streamed for fractions of a cent on Spotify and such places. All right, bad start, strategy that stokes fear, scare tactic. So 2019 World Series champs. Now this is interesting because, well, it's interesting to me in the context of this particular day, because I think there was a clue on the bonus puzzle I did yesterday, the Lollapuzzoola puzzle, and I think it was something like Expos now or something like that, or Expo now, and the answer was Nat. So I wonder if maybe this, by some stroke of luck, is the same team and is the Nats. Dear fellow, sir, I suppose. And the thing I'm saying with Nats is that I got the sense that was a sports clue yesterday, even though I didn't necessarily understand the context, and I think maybe it's the same one. I'm sort of going a bit out on a limb. Kissing related. Oscular? Is that something? Important map information would be scale. Bad start. Maybe bad start is mala. What is this? Is it surname? Is there something? There must be a theme going on here because, oops, what did I do? Sorry, just adjusting the scroll there. Could it be a dash surname or something, or just an empty square? Because a bad start would be mal or mal, which is French for bad, and often means badly in English as a prefix, like maladroit. Well, that's a French word, I guess, but malapportioned, for instance, badly meted out. And then that would allow this to be surname, which was my original guess. Wow, that is interesting. So maybe we have some blank squares, and I bet there will be a theme answer somewhere that explains this. Important part of a taxi. Could it be I was going to say the meter, but that doesn't fit. A door, I suppose. Need for making poussoir prints. This is a stencil-based art form or medium. I guess it's a technique. It's neither a form nor a medium. It's a technique, I think. Raid shelfmate. So Raid, I think, is it anti-insect spray or something? I'm not sure what another brand of that would be. Coach could be trained. To coach somebody is to train them. Better get blank. Auto repair slogan. I don't know. I'm just going to skip it for now. Together in music. It could be a duet, I think, maybe. A duet, sort of as a pair, perhaps. Bye now. Ciao. So the is at least correct. One studying the Vedas. Oh, Hindu. Yes. Okay. Of course. Important part of a taxi. Why am I not seeing that? This seems like it should be easier than some of these other clues. Actor Williamson, who portrayed Merlin in Excalibur. Oh boy, I have no clue. Blank about, could be on or about, let's put that in. Title character in a classic John Cleese comedy. I was going to say Wanda for A Fish Called Wanda, which is a truly exceptional film. It's so rare to see I feel comedy ages pretty poorly relative to most genres. Often older comedies, you might like them because they're meaningful to you or you have positive memories, but often comedy doesn't hold up particularly well because comedy is so tied to the sort of mores and tastes of the moment. But A Fish Called Wanda, it's just a really great movie that I saw a long time after its release and found still to be great. Anyway, it's not Wanda, so I don't know why I'm talking about this. Title character in a classic John Cleese comedy. Brian, The Life of Brian. I mean, you wouldn't really call that a John Cleese comedy. That's a Monty Python film. Faulty? Oh, Faulty from Faulty Towers, Basil Fawlty. It must be that. I was thinking films, but this is if it's Faulty, it's a television program. John Cleese's classic comedy show, not movie, Faulty Towers. And his character's name was Basil Fawlty and is spelled this way. Another absolute stone cold classic. Probably has elements that don't bear up quite as well as maybe A Fish Called Wanda, but an absolute great series. Not a chance. I mean, it also might not be faulty. Where to turn for self-knowledge? I also, what occurred to me just now is this could conceivably be Wanda, actually, because we are missing, we do have these missing cells. I have to remember this. And this could be not a chance, no way. Our missing cell could be up at the top there. So let's put Wanda in and see if that helps. So where to turn for self-knowledge? Inward. This clue is what jogged my memory, actually, because it seemed like it should be something like inward, but that wasn't working with the cross. So here we have actor Williamson, who played Merlin. Neil, Niall? No, that doesn't work with this. Important part of a taxi. I guess a horn. I guess cab drivers do blow their horn. Nicole Williamson, with a K maybe. Bikes without pedaling, coasts. Yeah, okay, so it is Nicole. Functioned as, was, yes, this functioned as something, it was it. A jealous mistress, per Emerson. I suppose that's Ralph Waldo Emerson art. Sorry measure, abbreviation, yards. Okay, measurement. All right, so what does this mean, this space? Don't really know yet. I mean, it's Yeah, it's interesting because no way, those are in fact two words. So it makes sense that they would be separated. Surname is a single word. So I don't know what it means that that is separated. I bet this 40 across long clue will give us some hints. Raid, shelfmate. Could it be Deet? That sort of rings a bell. No. Japanese dance or drama. Well, it's our old friend No, I think, which has come up several times in the past few weeks. Indefinite ordinal. So an ordinal meaning a sort of label of a sequential thing, I suppose, like first, second, third, or ordinals, and nth in this case because it's indefinite, it's not specific. Nth. Bat Appreciation Month, appropriately. October, I suppose. I'm only saying that because Halloween falls in October, and the appropriately suggests there should be something thematically fitting about this month to bats. And I can't think what that could possibly be other than Halloween in October. Uh-oh, better get blank. I don't know that one. Raid shelfmate. Capiche in 70s slang. Could it be can you dig it? Yes, I think it might be. That's great. Unless there's a missing cell and I've wasted this brilliant inference on nothing. All right, so here we go. One way to run, or a hint to 4 geographical intersections found in this grid. So these are cross something? Cross, one way to run. Oh, coast to coast, maybe? No, that wouldn't mean anything. Cross country, of course, yeah, sorry. The much more common word than coast to coast for this exact concept. So cross country, so what is that getting at? Is this Suriname, the country? And Mali, yes. These are both countries. So there's an I in there. And then wow, genius. So in other words, we're crossing the country. We're skipping over the country in order to answer these, the actual clues that are written, which are bad start, and it comes first in China, but second in the US. And then when we fill, we get the country. So here we have Rwanda down and Norway across. Wow, very, very clever. Interesting. Okay, so let's keep going. Pipe buildup could be soot. Leslie of 60 Minutes, Leslie Stahl. It's one of those ones you just have to know, but hopefully we can get it through crosses if you don't. Real first name of Spider-Man villain, Dr. Octopus. Otto, I suppose. Suitable sounding name for a kid on Santa's naughty list. Well, Santa might give a naughty kid coal, so perhaps their name would be Cole, spelled as the name rather than the substance. Cover story could be an alibi. Loose could be untied, as in shoelaces. Drug in Breaking Bad. I guess I wouldn't have remembered this specifically as the drug, but I guess it's meth because of the crosses. Methamphetamine. Pangs could be throbs, I suppose. Elementary school basics. RRs, reading and writing? Doesn't seem quite right. Are there 3 R's maybe? Reading, writing, and, well, writing doesn't start with an R. Reading, I don't know. What are the other ones? Resting? Who knows? Neat and orderly. Now I'm suspicious of everything because of these missing spaces, but you couldn't fit a country name into RR blank, so I suppose not. U, V, W, or Y, but not X. I'm not sure. Jargony rationale for a business merger. Jargony is doing a lot of work here because a very jargony business term is synergy. We're going to realize synergies in this merger, one might annoyingly say. Media exec Robert. So I think this is Robert Iger, the current president of the Walt Disney Company. And that's a tricky one if you don't happen to know it. I bet the country will be Niger. I mean, I say it's tricky because you're very much not going to get across here. Well, unless you get this word and then infer the country. So, which will have an N in it, I suspect. I suspect this is Niger. I can't think of any other countries that would conclude with IGER and only have 5 letters. So a hippie happening. I think this was a B in, and then the country here is Benin. So that's works. That's correct. Naming informally could be IDing, identifying. Mesh-like. This isn't a word I've ever seen or used, certainly, but I suppose netty, like a net, mesh-like. Why not? Current event. Oh, current event, as in a body of water, an ocean, a tide. And also sort of tidings, current tidings, news. So there's a little bit of an additional resonance maybe in the clue. Found an occasion. If one found an occasion to solve the crossword each day, one made time for it. U, V, W, or Y, but not X. I'm sorry if you're seeing this. I'm not. Neat and orderly. Looks like tidy, doesn't it? But that doesn't fit. Can you dig it? Throbs could be wrong. Is there something else, maybe? Can you dig it or something? Maybe, actually. You've always got to consider the possibility of a blank cell. So neat and orderly. Oh, well, though this would have a letter in it. So if this were, let's just try something. If this were tidy, could this be the no, that doesn't make any sense. Tidy isn't, no. I'm talking complete nonsense, I'm sorry. Animal house would be a den. What am I missing here? Let's move on, we'll come back to it. We'll see how many, I wish there were a way to sort of mark or color these missing cells so that I could see the pattern of where they are in case there's symmetry of some kind. Actually, let's see if there is. So rotationally, the symmetrical cell to this one would be, it would be here, which isn't one. And then the rotational symmetry here would be here. Who knows? Well, first airline to complete a round-the-world flight. Let's say maybe this is the missing cell and put Pan Am into here and see if that works at all. Grab by pinching as an ice cube. I don't know, tweeze? Doesn't work. Per blank, per DM, per statue of Ganesha, e.g. English Channel, familiarly. Oh, so it's not the English Channel, the body of water. It's an English television network, the BBC. Predecessors of Lenovo's. These are IBM laptops. IBM PCs, I guess? Amscray, beat it. Pig Latin for scram. LA winter hours would be, so not daylight, which we can see it's got ST for standard time in here. And LA, Los Angeles is in the Pacific region, so Pacific Standard Time. Shakespeare's poor venomous fool is an asp. And apposite is apt, that's just a synonym. Part of STEM, abbreviation is science, so asp works. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, or something like that. School subjects that are sort of hard science related. All right, so let's see. Got a few weak parts of the grid for me here. O'er and o'er could be oft, as in often. These are both sort of poetic phrasings. VIPs could be the A-list. A datum. So datum is the singular of data. Data is actually plural, which often is not used properly. Although at this point, I think data is also basically a singular collective noun. So I don't know, I should say people are using it incorrectly. It's just that syntax is somewhat changed. But anyway, datum is a single unit of data. Bungler would be an oaf. Oh, a datum could be a fact, a single fact. Where some keys are found, abbreviation FLA. Probably wouldn't have gotten this without the crosses, but FLA is an abbreviation for the U.S. state of Florida, and there are the Florida Keys in Florida. I saw Key Largo, the film, recently, set in the Florida Keys. And great, great movie. Humphrey Bogart, super good, and Lauren Bacall. Anyway, datum is a fact. Blot. A stain, I guess. So maybe this is Pan Am over here. I mean, there could be another airline, but this seems pretty plausible. Oh, wait. Maybe not. Wait, so what would the country be? I mean, it could be Panama, but that wouldn't work. This would be Panama, not Pan Am. So maybe Pan Am is wrong. Is there an obvious country here I'm missing? Then what would stain be? Uh-oh. Maybe I don't know anything. Maybe this is all nonsense. Let's check some more crosses. Grab by pinching as an ice cube. Per blank. Oh, an idol. Statue idol. Yes, okay. So, blot. I don't know. Could be per diem. Maybe this is still Panama somehow, by coincidence. Although no, Panama makes no sense. Grab by pinching as an ice cube. Oh, Tonga. It is Pan Am. It's just in a wow, what a funny thing. It's just in a different, the empty cell is in a different place. So the empty cell is here. To grab by pinching as an ice cube is tong. The reason it took me so long to get there is because I thought of tongs, but it didn't occur to me that tong would be a verb. You can tong an ice cube. I'm a little bit skeptical of that. But it does work with Tonga and Panama. And a small storage unit, 1 meg maybe, 1 megabyte. Oh, and blot, stigma. In other words, a sort of a black mark on your reputation or whatever. Wiggle room. So if this were 1 meg, what would we have here? Swab. A mop, I guess. Carrier to Japan is ANA, Japan's largest airline. Don't know what it stands for, actually. Wiggle room, margin. Extra room to correct. Course correct. You've got a margin built in. Wrapper MC Ren, that looks correct. So we do have Panama and Tonga here. So now it just remains to clean out this troublesome little space. So how many empty spaces do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my guess is there isn't another one over here because we've got 4, 1 per quadrant, and that's kind of a typical pattern for this sort of theme. That's not a rule or anything, it's just my guess. Elementary school basics. So this could be maybe an R or an S. Neat and orderly. Why am I not seeing it? I mean, tidy is the most obvious thing, but it seems to break everything else. So what was this again? U, V, W, or Y, but not X. Boy, this is giving me a lot of trouble. I apologize for the delay. Capiche in 70s slang. So it's either can you dig it or can ya dig it with a space. I don't think it's this. I do think it's can you dig it. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously. And pangs does seem like throbs. What am I missing here? Thrums for pangs, maybe? Oh, boy. Throes of passion, pangs of passion. Oh, element. U, V, W, or Y, but not X. X is not an element in the periodic table. Neat and orderly could be ruly as opposed to unruly. All right, there we go. Thursday puzzle in 26 minutes. So really slowed down towards the end there as I struggled with this area. And now that it's all filled out, it all seems fair to me in here. Element is clever. U, V, W, or Y, but not X. That's very clever. These are actually all quite clever. And what's funny is that there were clues elsewhere that I found to be a little bit objectionable, but it wasn't the area that I struggled with so much. Things like grab by pinching, tong. I suppose I believe that that's a verb, but boy, that is an odd verb. And it's hard for me to imagine someone saying, hey, could you tong me some ice? Don't really feel, I mean, I guess they wanted tong, but could have used it as the noun, right? Pan Am is good. That's a good one for Panama. Netty, mesh-like. Clue is fine, but it's the answer in this case that I find a little bit weak. Sort of an odd word. I've never heard it used. But again, maybe it is by people who are not me. Generally speaking, though, very well done. Good puzzle. I really enjoyed the theme. So we have Mali, Suriname, Norway, Rwanda, Niger, Benin, Panama, and Tonga, making up our cross-country theme. Yeah, that's a good one by Ashish Vengsarkar. Very clever puzzle, and I think fitting with Thursday's reputation for, I would say, the wackier themes and gimmicks. That puzzle that I solved yesterday, that Lollapuzzoola competition puzzle, that would be, I think, very much appropriate for a Thursday. An ambitious and strange sort of mechanical theme, I guess. Themes that slightly mess with the rules of the crossword. I would say look for those on a Thursday. They don't always exist. I'm not saying that always happens on a Thursday, but that's usually the day on which they will appear. So if you're solving a Thursday puzzle and it feels like something just isn't working or doesn't quite make sense, maybe think about rebuses. If you remember, rebuses are when you put more than one letter into a single cell. Think about other things that could be going on, ways that cells maybe could be representing two different letters or no letters or something like that. That's the day for it. Anyway, I enjoyed this puzzle. How did you fare? Did it take you a while to come to grips with this theme and gimmick? Did you get it immediately? Did you appreciate it? I don't know. I'm curious. Let me know. And if you did enjoy this video, perhaps you would enjoy the whole series if you aren't already a subscriber, and you can become one by clicking the subscribe button, as I'm sure you know. And then you can be notified to your desired level of notification when these puzzles go up each morning. And why not tell a friend? Perhaps they too would like to take a cross-country tour through the mechanics of a crossword puzzle. Who knows? And finally, if you are particularly enjoying this series and you'd like to contribute personally to its ongoing success, why not toss me a couple of quid or a few bucks to my Ko-fi donation page, which is linked in the description field underneath each video. And you can do that on a one-off or monthly recurring basis. I really very much appreciate every donation, and particularly those recurring donations, which help make this something that feels sustainable going forward on a month-to-month basis. So thank you so much to everybody who has done that. And I'll let you go. I'll let you have, hopefully, an excellent remainder of your Thursday. And I do hope you join me again tomorrow for another edition of the Daily Solve, when we tackle the Friday puzzle, the penultimate puzzle in terms of difficulty of the week. And until that point, take care.